and welcome to News Now. I'm Shibani Kharat joining you from Mumbai, and joining us from Delhi is my colleague Sumita Karir right there. Now, the Trump administration has proposed a fee of over $1 lakh on the new H-1B visas for highly skilled foreign workers. This move is in fact expected to significantly impact Indians who are among the key beneficiaries. The fee will not apply to those already in the US on student visas or to the renewals. Now, regarding the current US administration has been extremely critical of the H-1B visa program, as they believe it affects job opportunities for locals. To discuss this, we are now joined in by Ajay Bhutoria, ex-advisor to the Joe Biden immigration policies. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhutoria, for joining us on ET Now today, and help us understand, this number of 100,000 US dollars, and how will it impact, specifically the Indian IT professionals?
Thank you for having me. What we are seeing is a fundamental structural shift in U.S. immigration policy by attempting to codify payment of 103,000, 200 something dollars. The administration is effectively replacing a lottery system with a high cost barrier. While this is still a proposed rule facing public comments and inevitable lawsuits, the writing on the wall for Indian tech industry is clear. US employers will save the H-1B route only for ultra-high earners and very highly skilled resources, while accelerating the pace to move critical tech projects directly into global capability centers inside India. So this means that this will be a huge shift. So now let me walk you through some of the key points of this proposed rule. The proposed rule says that DHS has published a rule in the Federal Register, which is open for 30 days for comments. What it means is that the proposed rule is that any H-1 which is subject to cap exempt, which is around 65,000 visas every year, or 75% of which goes to mostly Indian nationals, that will be subjected to an additional fees of $103,265 in addition to the regular H-1B processing fee. The rule making basically has to 30 days open for public comments and business and legal, and after that it will be could be codified. But there will be legal lawsuits, like we challenge the Trump administration earlier rule for 100,000 fee, and it was defeated in the court. We challenge his birthright citizenship.
Right.
So,
right, Mr. Bhutoria, but let me also ask you on the H-1B program. Because NASSCOM in a statement suggests that it should be seen in light of what the intent of the program was, which is to ensure that there are enough high-skilled workers in the United States to sort of bridge that skill gap. In fact, NASSCOM claims that over $1 billion have been spent in strengthening the STEM pipeline in the United States. So shouldn't that be recognized, and shouldn't the policy move then be tweaked accordingly, keeping all of that in mind? That is the big context that perhaps needs to be looked at.
Absolutely. I mean, as you pointed out, the H-1B program was started with the skills needed at that point in time was C++, Java, Python, and all those skills. Those skills were put into the program. Now the world has moved into AI and vibe coding, and none of these skills are needed anymore as critical skills. So in light of that, definitely the H-1B program needs to be reviewed, what is needed. And also there's been a strong push by MAGA to develop those skills locally in the local universities so that local people can get job. So there's a very big push. So that whole program needs to be revised, and I'm in favor of that, so that it identifies what are the critical skills needed for the industry and what skills can be developed local and what skills are brought in. Because when you welcome these resources, the country has been welcoming these resources and bringing them into the country. There's no point in creating an atmosphere of hate against H-1B while legally you are welcoming and you are asking and requesting them to come to the country. So definitely a revision of this program is needed, both by Democrats and Republicans, to come together with how they want to push forward this program, so that when you bring a resource and when you have them live in this country, you leave them with dignity and proper rules and regulation.
I just want to understand from you, won't this move of, the $100,000 visa fee for H-1B, won't it backfire? Many of the tech companies, instead of hiring locally, simply it's easier for them to set up base somewhere else.
Absolutely, and this will increase the companies, IT companies are rethinking a strategy, which means that end of low margin onshoring, which means that companies or body shopping companies hiring H-1B visas and delivering on-site low cost resources. This will shift to global center capability centers, which means that instead of moving talent to US, the talent will be moved to Indian IT majors or global multinational, whether it's Vietnam or Brazil or other countries. And this will double down on building and expanding capabilities of our global capability centers, let's say inside Bangalore or Hyderabad or NCR. The work will move to the talent rather than the talent moving to the US. So that will be a big shift, that work moving to the talent rather than talent moving to the US. Right now,
right, Mr. Bhutoria, let me also...
The panic is great. Panic is a little premature. The rule is not active today. The 30-day window, basically public comments are open for 30 days, and Silicon Valley giants and others will be reviewing it. The immigration, there is a guaranteed litigation which will happen, and even if a rule is published later this year, it will face immediate aggressive lawsuits in federal district courts, and so that's a whole layer of legal processes still involved before it comes into effect.
Absolutely, Mr. Bhutoria. So it remains to be seen whether this is going to see the light of the day. And in fact, earlier one proposal which proposed increase in visa fee, that also faced litigation as well. And in fact, there was the intervention of the top court from the United States as well. But in the interim, or perhaps in the next few months, how do you really see companies sort of dealing with the kind of changes that the US administration is hinting at, is proposing? We've also heard from JD Vance, who says that companies should hire American workers. So, of course, this is not new. But how do you see companies really prepping for what's to come in the future? Whether this proposal gets a sort of green signal or not, I'm sure that the US administration is going to sort of come out with similar, more measures to sort of prioritize American workers over immigrants.
I mean, I'm in absolute support of prioritizing American workers to give them opportunity wherever there's an opportunity. But at the same time, for innovation to survive and companies to innovate, they need these skilled resources. If they're not available locally, they have to get the talent throughout from the world. I mean, at the same time, what is happening is the impact of these administration's policies. Companies like Walmart, companies like many Silicon Valley companies, they have stopped hiring folks on immigration on H-1B. There's almost literally hiring freeze of H-1Bs or transferring resources in H-1B. So we're already seeing impact on H-1B resources. On top of that, there was another rule which was coming, which has been proposed, that if you get terminated, then you have to leave the country immediately. Today, there's a 60-day, and when I was in the Biden administration, I had proposed that rule to be extended to 180 days so that people can get time to find the job. They want to end it immediately, and people have to move back, and there's a huge opposition to that rule as well. So combined with all this, there's a lot of uncertainty around how, but there's one thing certain, that this administration want to put a very tight, rope around use of H-1B and bringing people on immigration. And they have been spreading a lot of hate against Indian immigrants using this excuse. At the same time, not very qualified resources are available for these jobs even today. So there's also a need for U.S. universities to revise their curriculum to match with the industry needs, so that they can produce those resources which companies can hire. So that's what's happening right now.
So much for joining us today on the show and giving your inputs on this proposed $100,000 H-1B fee setback for Indians.
Thank you.
Well, it is time for us to slip into a very short break. You don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on News Now.